Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be tackling a story that's been told and retold in China for literally thousands of years.
Mhm.
We're talking about the epic clash between, get this, the Yellow Emperor, Huangdi, and a fierce warlord named Qiyu.
That's right.
Now you might be thinking, another ancient battle, what's so special about that? But trust me, this is way more than just some dusty history lesson. We're talking about as a story that's woven into the very fabric of Chinese culture, even today. And get this, we're going to be using some seriously old-school sources to guide us. We're talking texts like the records of the Grand Historian and the classic of Mountains and Seas.
That's right.
And what's really cool about these sources is that they don't just give us like a dry timeline of events. They're full of myth and symbolism. I mean, it's like reading an origin story.
Exactly. Like a superhero origin story.
Yeah, for a whole civilization. So let's introduce our main players here. In this corner, we've got Huangdi, the Yellow Emperor. He's often portrayed as this wise, unifying leader, a real symbol of Chinese unity. But what's really fascinating to me is that he's not just some like warrior king.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is credited with all sorts of crazy innovations like inventing the compass,
Mm-hmm.
early forms of writing, medicine. I mean, it's like he's like a Renaissance man, but thousands of years before the Renaissance, right?
Yeah, I mean, what I think is so captivating about his story, though, is that it really highlights this idea of collaboration. It's not just about one guy's brilliance.
Right.
The texts we have really emphasize how he brought together all these different tribes, with all their own special skills and knowledge to face a common enemy. I mean, it's a powerful message about the strength you find in unity, and it's something that you can still see resonating in Chinese culture even today.
Absolutely, yeah. And then in the other corner, we have Qiyu, who's kind of the antagonist of our story here,
Hmm.
often portrayed as this, almost demonic figure, all about brute force and aggression. Really makes you wonder, though, right?
Yeah.
How much of that portrayal is based in actual fact, like what really went down versus maybe later interpretations that might have, like, demonized rivals
Oh.
to make Huangdi look even better,
Well, and that's what makes it so interesting, right? I mean, these ancient texts, people are constantly looking at them in new ways and reinterpreting them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have modern historians who are kind of trying to dig beneath the surface, look past just, good guy versus bad guy, and trying to, really understand what were these figures all about?
Right
I
on.
mean, were they really complete opposites, or was that difference exaggerated over time to serve certain maybe political agendas?
Yeah, it's a great point.
Yeah.
So we've got these two larger than life figures. But what was it that set them on a collision course? I mean, was it just a simple land grab,
Well,
competing over resources?
resources were definitely part of the picture.
Yeah.
But I think what the sources hint at is that there were some deeper issues going on too. Like, imagine this: you've got two completely different ways of life, right? On the one hand, you've got Huangdi.
Yeah.
He's all about order, cooperation, working together.
Yeah.
Then on the other hand, you've got Qiyu, right, who represents this, a more chaotic way of doing things, a more individualistic kind of a way of life.
Interesting. Yeah. So this wasn't like just a border skirmish, right?
Yeah.
This was a battle for the soul of a civilization in a way.
Right.
And the texts describe this battle in some pretty epic terms. Like we're talking cloud ladders, warriors scaling walls with cloud ladders, and get this, weapons powered by fire.
I know, right?
What are we talking about here?
Early.
Like early flamethrowers, gunpowder.
Well, there's a lot of debate about that, to be honest.
Yeah.
You've got some scholars who think, maybe these fire weapons were pretty basic, maybe torches or, arrows that were set on fire. Okay. But then you've got others who think maybe they were talking about something more advanced,
Right.
But what is clear is that Huangdi was ready and willing to try new things, embrace new technologies to achieve victory.
Right. Yeah. A real innovator. But I mean, I can only imagine, right, that Qiyu must have put up a heck of a fight.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, the classic of Mountains and Seas describes him as having this like metal head, with
Oh.
horns,
Whoa.
and he's spewing sand and metal from his mouth. I mean, that's some serious imagery.
That's intense.
It really emphasizes just how strong, how untamed he's supposed to be.
Yeah, definitely paints him as a formidable a formidable opponent for Huangdi. So it sounds like we're not just talking about brute force versus brute force.
Right.
This is about different approaches to leadership, different ways of organizing society. In the end, of course, Huangdi triumphs. He solidifies his rule. He lays the groundwork for what will become a unified China.
Right.
How much of that victory, though, do you think we can attribute to, strategy versus just having better tech?
That's a great question, and I think it was probably a bit of both, right?
Yeah.
The texts really do emphasize both his tactical thinking, how brilliant he was as a leader, but also, his charisma, how he was able to bring people together.
Inspire them.
Yeah. So it's kind of a model of leadership that has been celebrated in China for centuries.
Wow, right.
It shows how important it is to have, strategy, innovation, and a vision that can unify people.
It's pretty wild how an event that happened so long ago, we're talking thousands of years,
Mhm.
is still so present. Like you see Huangdi invoked all the time. I
Yeah.
mean, everything from national celebrations to even like, modern political debates.
Yeah. It is really remarkable, and I think it shows just how powerful myths can be, right? Because the story of Huangdi's victory isn't just about this battle that happened way back when.
Right.
It's become a story about unity and about cultural identity, about how civilization triumphs over chaos.
Yeah.
And these themes, they still resonate really powerfully with people in China today. I mean, it shapes how they understand their own history, even their place in the world.
Makes you wonder though, right? What if?
Mm-hmm.
What if things had gone the other way? What if Qiyu had won?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how would Chinese identity, how would Chinese culture be different today?
That is the question, isn't it?
That's a question for all our listeners to ponder, I guess.
I think that's what makes these stories so fascinating, right? It's how they make us really think about how these myths and legends, how they've shaped the way we see the world.
Absolutely. Well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us as we explored this epic clash that really, helped shape a civilization. We'll be back soon with more deep dives into history, mythology, all that good stuff. Until then, keep digging. See ya.